Transport Fever 2 Station Design. This is one of my train stations, and I know it looks weird. I did something wrong, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to show you all the ways, all the things that I have to take into consideration in order to design the layout for this particular station. So number one, I've got a lot of trains. You can see there's a train here, and there's one over here. It looks like he might be heading away. There's another one over here. He's waiting to come in. This guy's waiting to come in. This guy's waiting to come in. This one's leaving. That one's leaving. And I've got this one who looks like he's coming in. That's coming in. That's coming in. And that one's coming in. So we got a lot of congestion. It's slowing down. I am losing a ton of money. I know it looks like I'm not losing money, but I really am. And I had to wait to get positive again. One of the problems is I put this truck stop over here because I really didn't understand at the time how the truck depots and the train depots, the catchment area, because it is a little bit different than the previous version. I accidentally put the rail line too high. I didn't have to put a cargo platform and a cargo platform. I could have doubled the rail. And I think I can build a rail through here, but you know what? I'm just going to do it the proper way. I've already tested that I can build a rail through there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these cargo storage buildings. I'm going to delete the rail, and I'm going to delete the platform. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double the rail so that there's more room to build. It's going to allow more trains to come in from the north, which are often heading south, but not always. So I deleted the storage buildings. Yes, there's a chance you might lose some items. I don't know. For example, there's some items on these platforms, but you know, it's just a video game, so I will suffer. Okay, so we got that platform. I want to get rid of this rail. Just gonna want to get rid of this rail, and I'm gonna double up the rail that's highlighted in yellow right now, which has a train on it. So I'm going to get rid of the rail here. This was what I added to fix, but I realized after I did it that I could have done a better job. So one of the situations is that I play the game because I want it to be challenging. So I know you're all going to say, well, why don't you just remove the depot? That's going to fix so many things. Well, because it's more fun to leave it in and build around it. So that's why I am leaving it in. Okay, so over here, I have doubled the line. And I'm going to build a platform. I didn't think that one would be able to be added. And I was right. Okay, I'm not going to add the cargo buildings quite yet. So now you can see I added an extra line over here, and the reason why I did this was to improve the flow of traffic going in and out. So you see you've got this vehicle here that's going in, and now I have the option of moving them onto this other track. But we're going to wait and see what I do. This is going to go into here. So now, before, the northern trains were going in the middle here, but I'm going to move them up to where this other track is. Actually, it looks like he's already there. There's trains that are coming in. You click over here, you hit this button, looks good. We already looked at Cargo 7. Cargo 14 is coming through on the bottom. That's not that big of a deal. Cargo 16. The line that I just deleted was for Cargo 16. This one comes through on the bottom. I know which one it's going to be. It's going to be the oil. This one comes from the north and goes south. The oil has a different route. So you see that I could push the oil, only has one train, but remember there's another train line that's very busy that goes on this track. So I'm going to lighten it by one train. And another train is going to be lightened, which looks like it's similar. So we've got two oil lines, apparently. And then this one could also be moved to that upper track, which is going to lighten up 4 trains, and it's cargo 7. So we've got 3 that are going to stay on this track, which currently has 7, and we're going to keep 3 here. We're going to move 4 to the line above it. The other option is I could just move this to the line above it and leave the other ones the way they are. So now the next thing you want to do is it 4 or 12 that goes in? We're going to click on Manage Line. 4 is on line 3. 12 is on line 1, so it's number 4. And we're going to push it up to here. And then I'm going to close this and check the line. The line looks good, which means I just moved 3 trains to that upper track. I didn't have to make any other changes, and it's going to lighten up the traffic going through here. So we'll check passengers. That one goes in and out. He was the one who was going to go up onto one of those lines. This one is just doing a pass through. This one is just going in and out. And then this one is a normal line with 3 trains. That's on a passenger only track, so we don't have to move that one. Okay, so here's what I got to do. I got to correct the missing platform that's over here. Number 2, I got to decide if I want to add another track, which I don't think I need because it's not really that overloaded up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish restoring the cargo buildings. Not putting passenger, I've got enough passenger buildings. There's a lot more cargo moving around the map than there are people. So therefore, I need more cargo buildings than I need people. When you put these buildings down, you cannot lay additional track on the other side of the buildings as far as I know. I'm going to just check just to make sure. There is a way to do it. So I cannot add a platform, no option to lay a track. So the way you would do it is you would put a platform over here where these buildings are, and then another platform, and then another platform, and then you'd be able to run a track on the other side of these buildings. But that's something I'm going to do in the future. And obviously I have the option of putting a platform here. Okay, so that's going to lighten up the traffic a little bit. I'm going to hit play. There is another thing that I can do, which is to build a loop. Let's see if I can find an example of a loop. This is Great Yarmouth. I definitely have, okay, I know where the loops are. We're over here. I'm going to show you some of the loops that I did in this station. So the loop over here on the left, what this does is it allows the trains to come in the middle tracks, and then they can leave by going around and getting back on the track without crossing over. So what happens is there's trains that can get in and get out more easily because I made the loop. And it's useful for a lot of stations. I'm going to see if I can find a track that uses it. There it is, Cargo 6. So you can see what Cargo 6 is doing. He needs to go north. He could have come through. This loop over here would not allow him to head north. He could go through the station, but he has to cross over tracks in order to go through. And that prevents trains from coming out. So what I did was I made it so that he loops around, doesn't block any trains, goes over across the top, gets back in, goes out, heads north. The station I'm currently working on doesn't need this, or maybe it does. We'll take a look. What this loop does, I know it's not going to be Cargo 1 because obviously that was a long time ago. What this loop does is it allows the trains from the south to go over, access the track in the middle, and go back down. This yellow line is a southern line that runs parallel, and that's the end point. So it goes after the industries. The one on top is intercity, connects to one of the cities, and then it goes back. So we're going to go back to Yarmouth, which is here. And the question is, how do I make a loop that allows the traffic to get to where it needs to be? So we know that we've got lines coming from north on the screen, and then they head back north. We really don't have much of anything going south. Everything just passes through. I have one line that passes through without stopping. One train is running on it. It's running logs. So what I could do is bypass. I could build a tunnel underneath the station. Unfortunately, I can't right now because I don't have any money. I ran out of cash. But hopefully in a few days I'll have some cash, and then run the line underneath. I only got one train that's going to use it right now, which means that he's not going to stop and wait anymore. And he's just going to pass right through. So the other thing that I did is coming into the station, I have one line. This is the line on the left is obviously the outgoing line. The one in the middle is incoming, and the one on the right is incoming. So usually the incoming lines are one cargo, one passenger. And I usually put the passenger on the right and the cargo in the middle, because usually the tracks are laid out where you've got cargo, you see the cargo in the middle, and you've got a passenger on the left, which is the white line, and we've got passengers over here, which is why I have the cargo line with the passengers on the right, so they don't have to cross over. So they're waiting to get in. This line is probably going somewhere else. He's going in and then he's coming back out. But if you notice, what I can do is I can build a line that goes parallel to here and connects over here, and it frees up a little bit of the track so that a train can go in and a train can come out at the same time. And I know you're going to look at this and you're going to say, well, it's a stupid design. I understand it's a stupid design, but again, this is actually the first game that I played of Transport Fever 2. And that's why I didn't build an expansive station, because I have been playing the previous version of Transport Fever. It works a little bit differently. The city growth is a little bit different. The way you build the stations is a little bit different, etc. So I decided to do it that way. I like the challenge of finding a way to make it work. So what's going to happen is this oil line, he's probably going to be pushed north of these buildings, and he's going to go north of this truck depot, and he's going to connect to his line going north. And these lines are going to be used for some of these trains that are coming through. One of the things that I will tell you, all of my tracks going through are either for cargo or for passenger. None of them are shared. I'm pretty sure you can share a line. For example, I could have put a track between the cargo platform and the passenger platform. I could have put a track in the middle here and allowed a train to come through that services both, but I didn't do it. All of my tracks, the passengers have their own track within the station, and the cargo has its own track within the station. Usually they get out pretty fast, so I don't double the line getting out, but you'll see eventually these are only 3 lines, and then it goes into 2 because it's in the middle of nowhere. Now we still have 2 lines, but over here you see it's become 3 lines. We've got the left, the middle, and the right. And the middle line, as you can see from the signal, well, that's a waypoint. The middle line is for trains going into the station, because the passenger trains are going to queue up on the southern track, the outside track. The cargo trains will queue up on the inside track, and then the middle track. And then outgoing is going to be on the track which you would see in the north, which is the top. And then you can see over here we've got a passenger terminal with the passengers coming in. We've got the cargo, etc. So I don't build 4 tracks. Here's a train going in. The passenger train would be on the right of him, which allows the faster passenger trains to bypass the cargo trains. And over here it looks like there are 4 tracks. We've got 2 going west and 2 going east. And here's an example of the passenger train coming on the outside track, even though this is a slow passenger train. So I want to save money. The other thing that I do is I put bridges over almost every track on the map. There's only a few, I'd say 95% has a bridge or a tunnel. There's only a few where I did not put a bridge or a tunnel. Here's another example where I built a bridge. And that allows everything to flow. Here's an example of one where I did not build a bridge, but it will be very easy to do. Okay, so that is how you use the configure option. You don't want to put too many passenger, because as you can see, you know, the passenger numbers aren't so bad, but with cargo, you really start to see big numbers like 205 and 280. I've seen 600 and 800. So you want to have all these buildings in the north. You want the incoming tracks to be as long as possible. Don't tighten them too much because it will cause problems. Like this was probably built like this because you see that there's a track that crosses over, so I couldn't bring it all the way to the end. Probably doesn't matter. But you want to make the most efficient use of your signals for the trains coming in, the length of the train. Give them lots of room. Double up the line. These trains are all waiting to come in. We've got another one. He's going over. They're all waiting. What is that? 4 trains waiting to come in. And we've got 2 that are in the station. We've got 1, 2, 3 that are coming in. So there's like 7 trains trying to come in. The passenger trains would be able to come through and pass all these trains. Over here, I should probably add a signal. I don't have the money to do it. But if I add a signal right here, this train will move forward, this one will move forward, this one will move forward, etc. The diagonal road over here, I'm pretty sure is something that the game generated. I did not build these diagonal roads. You see how there's this little road connection over here? You need this little road connection in the game. You see all these dashed lines? Over here, there's a dashed line. Maybe there's another road connection over here. You need that. Maybe if we hit configure, we'll be able to see it, but I suppose not. When you lay the track, you can see it. You want to make sure you have those connections. The next thing you want to do, look for, there's a reason why I built this building here. It's because this one is, some of them are too far away. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, we'll use this one as an example. I'm going to click on it. You see how it turns white over here, but the station is not white? That means that it's too far away. If I click on this one, the train station turns white when I click on the truck depot. That means that they're connected. So if someone drops off goods at the train station, the trucks can pick it up automatically. And I'm guessing there's no other truck depot. Go over here, you click the line, and it shows everywhere that it's going. Here's the other truck depot. And you notice that there's a white area, but it doesn't connect to the train station. See? They're disconnected. This one does, this one doesn't. So that means I had to run the cargo line to do a drop-off over here, but the drop-off only drops off, it doesn't pick up. So I needed to put this station here, run the cargo line throughout the city so that it can drop off to businesses. Now let's see if we can see. There's a way to turn on the icons for the business, but not sure how to do it. Doesn't look like that, does it? So there's a way to do it, and you'll see all these little icons with people, with bread and bricks for each building. For example, over here, this says people, it's a residential building, and this is a residential building. This over here needs brick. This over here has people, people. This says cargo needs brick. That means you have to drop off bricks to your train depot. You have to put it on cargo line 3. You have to have a stop over here, which is going to drop off the bricks to these buildings. This one needs machines. But like I said, I don't understand why it's not showing the icons. Let's try clicking on a vehicle. It's not showing me the icons either. Okay, you go to layers and you look for cargo layer, and now you see all the bricks, all the bread, all the tools, and you click on the one for the people, you see all the buildings that have people in it. You need to run your cargo to all of these buildings. They all have to be in the catchment area of a truck stop. And in terms of people, they need to be in a catchment area. All these gray buildings need to be in the catchment area of a bus stop. So the way I did it, I've got these bus lines. You see that they go throughout the city dropping people off. This one does not, but I could take manage line, it's got a 1, add station, click over here, and now you see that this bus line is going to go help out with the people that are just got off of the train. And then you can see that bus 22 is an intercity bus line. So what you could do is you could call it bus Great Yarmouth, and then you know it's only intercity for that town, doesn't leave the town, hits all the bus stations, goes to the airport, goes to the trains, etc. The game does not build bridges. You have to build them. So you want to get rid of the constructions made by the game, turn them into bridges or tunnels. Put a passenger and a truck stop near your train. Have at least one passenger building, and the main building over here, which is right there, also has room for passengers. And I believe that the platforms also give you room for passengers. If you have an issue where it shows a little dot and it has an exclamation mark in it, that means it's overcrowded and you have to somehow build another building or move the trains in and out faster. You see there's an exclamation at the top of the screen, and that's what it will look like over here on the left. Okay, so there's another trick you can use. See over here it says terminals. You can click on terminals and check the distribution of your lines. This says I have 2 passenger tracks, and I've got 3 trains, 3 lines going on track 1, 2 lines going on track 2. I'm going to click on cargo, hit terminals, and you can see I have 4 cargo terminals, and the first one has 5 lines, and or is it more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the next one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Some of them just pass through. They stop and they don't come back. I can put them up here in the north, have them go around, it's no big deal. But 4 is the one at the top of the screen, 1 is at the bottom of the screen. And you can also see over here these colorful icons that show you which train lines are coming through on that track. And there's also another way to do it. You click on cargo, you hit manage line, and you see there's a 7. I'm going to click on the 7, and you'll notice it's starting to blink. You see it blinking? And then I'm going to click on 30, and now 30 is blinking. I didn't click on it, I just put the mouse over it, and you see that there's a dark blue line. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go to 30, and now 30 is blinking. So that's how you know which one is which. And you'll notice that this has a 1, which 1 is close to the main building, and the other one is line 7, which is over here, and line 7 says it is on cargo track 2. So I could switch it to 3 like this, and you see it switched it to 3. And then it took a detour to get on. You can see the detour going around. I'm going to switch it back to 2, and it no longer takes a detour going through this station. Okay, so that's a little bit about the layout. The layout is a lot more complicated than this. This is just one video about Transport Fever 2 station layout. So you've got one view of it. I'm going to make more videos where I explain different things. I did not build the loop going over. I need some time to think about it. This station might not need it, except for the line that's going down here. Like this guy, I can click on his line, highlight it, and you could see that I could have made a loop. I could have done, maybe I could fit a bridge in here, but I doubt it. To cross over the tracks, I'm sure I'm going to be fine. The other thing I could have done is taken this light blue line, crossed it over. This is too little of a space, but I could have crossed it over, made a loop, swung it back so it would come on this track over here instead of this track over here. That's something I could have done, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. Okay, so that is Transport Fever 2 station design. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. You can go to my discussion forum, cheapbooks.cc, go to video games, go to transport management, and then look for Train Fever and Transport Fever. They're all basically the same. One is a sequel of another. I am the owner of cheapbooks.com, which is a website for searching for books and textbooks. So if you want to save money on books, go to cheapbooks.com. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.